Okay. All right. Welcome to the. We never talk about what we're going to talk about on the show, but here we are talking about what we're going to talk about on the show. So I'm Lynn Serrano,
And I'm Brian.
and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back. That's why, we have the best umbrella, real and raw, because that's what we do here. It's the real and raw show. And it is the end of the year. And Brian and I are always set up with the fact that at the end of the year, we always look back at the year and then we look forward to the year. So I was doing the looking back and looking forward with Brian, and I'm like, oh shit. It says it's time. And Brian always comes in at the last minute, folks. He does that to me. And but I was like really into talking about what I'm planning here. And I'm like, shit, we got a show to do. So here we are live. And and we like to let our audience know what we're talking about. So we're gonna do the real and raw and talking about what I was talking about. Yeah. And that is I started a while back. We did we meaning me. It doesn't matter who did it, but I did it. I started archiving and doing our podcast and doing most of my podcast up on podcasting, and yet I stopped it for a while because I was doing a lot of other stuff, and I'm reverse engineering my TV network and everything. But I've got a lot of content and I'm holding it all on my StreamYard and stuff, and I've got to upload it and all this other stuff. And I was saying to Brian, because Brian and I, we're going on our 4th year here soon, but we have a lot of content, and I was going to delete it from the where I have it and go somewhere else. And I just thought it was a button because I'm spending money on it. It was just a button and just whatever. And they're like, where are you sending it to? Well, I don't know where that is yet, or blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and then I knew what a pain in the ass was to set that up. And I'm like, maybe I'll just leave it where it's at. Yeah. And then I was like, well, I think we're going to leave it where it's at. And I think because we spent most of our time, like I said, we weren't looking to monetize this. We were just sharing our thoughts. We were sharing experience of doing podcasts, how we felt. We shared, a lot of Lynnisms in there, which I'm going to make a book out of that. But I think with ours, the way I was sitting here is I think that when I upload those and I revisit those, I really, at the end, the call of action there is to promote Brian's productions, just like I'll have at the end there. And I'm talking to Brian live about this and sharing it with you guys of what's going on. But what's going to happen is the call to action, it will be directed to go to Brian to see where you can find him and what he's doing now, kind of thing. Yeah. And hi, Mindy. Thanks for being here.
Mindy.
Happy Monday. We're happy.
I like that sweater or shirt.
Yes, look at that. Yes, I'm gonna leave that there for a minute.
You're definitely in the fest. It looks like a deer or antelope or something.
Reindeer. It may be Rudolph. I love it.
Love it.
So what I was going to say is what I want to do is the call to action is just where to find Brian and where to find me, and, keeping us up to date, because what's really cool, most podcasters what they have done is they every day and every week, they upload their stuff to make their portfolio look better. But what's really cool, and then they become like, the top number 2 or number 3. Well, I stacked the deck for us, because when I'm done getting all these podcasts up, we're going to be at the top 1% of podcasters, because our volume, we have probably 200. I mean, the stack is stacked so high that we're going to be up there because we have the content. And I already knew that was going to happen. Yeah. So it's going to be freaking cool. But the funny thing is we're going to be like Netflix was when they got like the addition of Friends. Like, holy shit, they had the 10 series and they're like, you got to start all the way back. And then we're forward. And then, I'll have the current one. So it's going to really bog people down, because then we'll be referring back. I'm going to blow people's mind away with that. So I knew I was doing that. But now that I'm excited about it, because it's going to be hilarious.
Well, there's no, there's no doubting, as I've learned from doing this, I mean, content is gold.
Oh yeah.
There's different types of content. There's different podcasts for different things, topics, different personalities. But if somebody's going to commit to hundreds of episodes and do it
Yeah.
all the time, you
Yeah.
may not like them, but you can't disregard their message.
Well, and that's the thing. People when they finally realize who somebody is, and I'm at the point and it's funny because now I'm really gonna let people know how authentic I don't like the limelight. I really don't. I
Right.
like to be sidelined, but the point is like I know too many people and they don't understand that when you know me, and yet I'm the kind that I don't pester people. I don't whatever. Once I know you, I'm in the background. You have to come and find me.
Yep.
And I don't, like I'm the person that comes early to a party,
Yep.
find a place to sit, and I'll say hi, how are you? And then I'll come back. And
Right.
I'm not the one who comes in first and then, hey, I know and then I like to sneak out. That's me. And yet some people think I'm just loud and whatever, and they can think that whatever. Because sometimes I have to do that. Because if not, I'll just,
Well, I mean, your upbringing and who you are and your background, and if somebody, you know, the thing that comes to mind with all of this is that it's the amount of time that we put into this, but also though it's like we're giving a point of view that you don't have to agree with, but there's a reason why, there's some people that benefit from it and others that don't, but it doesn't mean it's not relevant.
right.
And if somebody's going to take the personal angle where you're loud or whatever, and that's going to be their filter, that they're not going to pursue your information, that's on them.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is like I know I have a lot to give, but I can
Yep.
only give so much, and then I
Yep.
have to go in. I'm an introvert. I don't even like telling people I'm an introvert because then I get picked on for that. Or I just because I do love people, but I only love them to so much, and then I gotta go back. Is really the truth. It's
Right.
because I don't like the minutia and I don't like the bullshit of people.
Well,
Like
I
when they
agree with
start
that.
fighting and they start getting all whatever, I'm like, fuck you people just I don't like that. I just have to go away. I just
Well,
love to see the good in people, and then I need to walk away.
and with the intention of what somebody's trying to put out there, it either is met or not met. And what I
Yeah,
mean by that is that does does this podcast or their purpose for their sharing their message, is it in alignment with who they are as people, or are they trying to have it be their message, but they're trying to fool the people to believe that it is about the message, but they're trying to monetize it. And I don't have a problem with people that monetize, but do it for
right,
the right reasons and be transparent about people that you're monetizing it. Don't
right,
don't be sly and sneaky about it or whatever, because you're going to come across in more of a deficit position than you are just by being straight up with your
right,
offerings. Mindy
right.
says, I'm a mix of introvert and extrovert, as my husband pointed out to me over the weekend.
Well, I think like everybody needs to monetize and make money and all that
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, I get that. I believe in that. I mean, Mindy, she sells beautiful jewelry and stuff like that, and I love some of that Park Lane stuff and all that stuff. But what I'm saying is when people are obnoxious to
Oh,
not
yeah.
be a human being and not know their place and not whatever. It just, that's just a turn off. And I mean, it just when you forget to be a human, like somebody gets in your messenger and they're like, "Hi, how are you?" And you just say, "My dog died," and that's a big deal when you have a dog and they're your family, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well, hi, yeah, so I'm selling this," and I was like, "You don't understand. I'm just freaking sad. My dog died." Like when people don't have the compassion or they don't understand
Yeah.
and they're not hearing, but they're wanting to say their message. I mean, there's just so many people that ruin things for other people, but it's just a time and place for everything, I guess.
Well, and
And so,
when you're an expert in your field, and you know what you're talking about, you just continue to do what you do, and the
yeah,
people that you attract are going to find you, and you're going to find them, but it's going to be authentic and real. The one surprise that might happen is when somebody is not prompted to buy something,
right.
or they're like, wait a minute, every other person shows up this way, but this person is showing up different, because that's not my intention, you know?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and here's the thing is that it's easier for people to sell themselves than it is for somebody to sell them on something.
right,
And where
right,
does that come from? It comes from trust. Comes from consistency in showing up, not asking for anything.
right.
We're just grateful to have people that want to spend a little time with us on a weekly basis. and hopefully give them something that can get them over, deal with life, deal with a crisis, feel better
Yeah.
about themselves, and live life on their terms, not on anybody else's.
Yep. Yeah. So, it's just, thank you, Mindy, for
Yeah.
participating. Yeah.
Yes, and knowing the
In the
time and
time and place.
place, and from the heart, how to. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so I'm going to do the minutia of uploading stuff and whatnot. And I'm going to be very short on the topic as far as labeling them, because I feel like if you want to listen and get some knowledge, and yet I'll listen to it and say, yeah, this is a little bit about this. But we did do some deep dive conversations and whatnot. And we have some interesting podcasts, but I think there'll be I'm excited about uploading it too, because when I do cross country this summer, I want to go back and relive some of the funny crap that we've gone through and stuff too. So I'm excited about that. But you know what, Brian? Almost on YouTube, I'm almost hitting 600 videos on there on my YouTube channel. Just to say, and I only have 160 subscribers. And you know what? I didn't want a big subscribers yet, because I'm not trying to build the channel yet, because I haven't mixed it all right. I haven't, done everything. I haven't made it like open house, grand opening thing yet, because of all the stuff, So like, yeah.
That's
So
really where your why begins. Yeah. The When it comes to the why and how, I mean, there's various different mindsets. I mean, Simon Sinek and Scott McCain. My view on that is the why is for you. The how, like if you're a business owner, is for the customer.
yeah,
The why is your purpose. The how
yeah,
you do it is for them. That's what they're paying for. That's the outcome you're going to generate, or the results, or whatever.
yeah,
Um, a lot of people get fixated on just why and all of that, but they never bring in the how. And the how is what makes one coach different than another, one business owner different than another, or one person that delivers more results than another. It's the how, it's not the why.
and it's funny because absolutely, she says
The
the
why is
why
your
is
reason, purpose. Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
and next, oh my gosh, next Monday, if we're here, it's going to be my birthday next Monday. I
Woo!
didn't even think of that. But 58 years, you do so much. And I mean, like I said, I just went and, got a license. I'll just leave it at that way. And I just, and I went ahead and add something else to my wheelhouse. But, you get all these different experiences, and you go ahead and you learn things, and you add things, and you just keep reinventing yourself and just keep adding things, and also deliver individual and different aspects to the listening, and it's like,
Yep.
I debate whether I'm gonna just take 2 days a week, maybe might open up this year, might, who knows, I might push the envelope, and I might open up my lingerie and adult novelty boutique 2 days a week,
Nice.
or maybe one day, a Saturday night, online, just for the heck of it, because
Well,
that's something I did for 15 years, and I had so much fun with it. I
well,
just
there's
might do that.
well, there's two things today that are definitely marketable: is anything that is scarce and anything that's urgent.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, and I'm like, damn, I'm just a jack of all trades. But you know what? I love, I love having a co-host. She goes, why Mike?
Yeah.
Goes from the digging deeper.
Yeah.
But, I love helping people in relationships. I love the fact that people make things complicated, and I have people in relationships and different things that just make life more complicated and drama in their life. And I'm just like the Bob Newhart guy. Stop it. Just
Oh
stop
yeah,
it.
yeah, the
I
video.
just,
Yeah,
yeah,
just
just,
stop
I
it.
have become, when people come to me lately, and this one friend, she's like, Lynn, call me out. I'm like, I'm not going to call you out. But she just recently, and then something's hit home in my own family, which I'm not going to bring that up either. But when people come to me for help, and I listen to these things, and I'm like, all I want to do, I haven't used it yet, but I think I just want to give them that YouTube thing and say, just stop it,
Yeah, gosh, there's enough out there.
yeah,
Yeah,
don't complicate it. Gosh, there's
I
enough
was
out there.
I talk to people all the time and about this, because I deal with it just like the other, just like the next person. But what Albert Einstein said, and I'm just paraphrasing one of his quotes, but in order to get to simplicity, you got to go through complexity.
Yes, but that's the thing. People take relationships for granted.
Yeah.
They take it for granted, and the problem is that they figure, well, you know what? I do a podcast every week with Brian. If Brian wants to be on here, he's going to show up here, and that's just the way it is. No, that's not the way it is, people. You don't treat anyone like that for no reason. And people don't understand that. No one needs to be anywheres or anything or nothing for nothing. You don't take nothing for granted. We don't do that. We forget. The internet can go off any minute. And I'm not just talking about Spectrum. Hello, somebody that can pull the plug on us at any time, our lives or anything. And we just make things complicated. But, that's why they say everything about gratitude. Everything about gratitude, not taking things for granted. But we do. We take so much for granted all the time.
And I think that one of the things that people least evaluate when it comes to live streaming. Now, this is just my perception and the experience I've had being, a co-host and blessed to be on other shows and all of that, is the skill set that you develop while you're doing this for something else. Like your inherent skill set to speak extemporaneously, be in the moment, be goofy, be silly, and be fully self-expressed. That is something that you receive as a skill set that you have forever. But the intention was to deliver a message with you on a show, right? But skills we learn over and over and over again, those are priceless. And I don't think a lot of people give a lot of thought to that because they're using it as a way to sell, or they want to have subscribers for their show or their course or whatever, which is fine. But it's like the skills that you develop without even really realizing you're doing it. We just show up here, we're talking, but how we're able to dialogue so well and how we're able to fill in for each other didn't happen overnight.
No.
We've had some discussions over the time that caused some, disheartening things, where we felt hurt by each other and all that, which we overcame.
Oh, yeah.
But it was a growing pains that we went through, but also that we understood each other better, but we got better as our skill sets.
Oh, yeah. And, and that came from a place that we know we love each other and we know that we respect each other and that, and we've seen it from different perspectives, But again, in relationships, people just get pissed off from their perspective.
Say that 5 times. Pissed off perspective. You gotta. That's a hashtag for this show. Pissed off perspective.
This is my Liz pissed off perspective.
Somebody will type that in on X or whatever and be like, "Hey, I'm just wondering who's got a pissed off perspective today."
Well,
and then all of a sudden, this show.
Because it's just like we got to get off of that. I mean, because I'm Puerto Rican, and I'll tell you what, I get pissed off really easy, but I know how to get off of it. I mean, I got to let my friends hear me out. And then after that, I get off my, rant. And then I realize, okay, let's look at it a different way, but you got to acknowledge it. And then she hashtagged it with Lynn Serrano.
Yeah, please, Lynn. Yeah, bring it. Okay, so Mindy, I'm just going to leave this out here for you, knowing that you laid down the gauntlet a little bit. Okay, number 1, she's Puerto Rican. Number 2, she's got a background living in Long Island. Nothing more said. I'm going to just leave that there. We can form our own conclusions based on those 2 factual pieces of info.
Well, there's enough people that pissed me off in my life to make me realize that me being pissed off too didn't get me anywheres. It didn't get those people anywheres neither. So I chose to be kind, but I also chose to realize that don't worry, you receive what you get, So be careful what you do because you do get it back. Could care less of this.
Yeah. And plus, you bring up a good point too, is that you can exhaust yourself.
She said totally
going to use this as I share the Pretty Sparkles relaunching. Pretty Sparkle is you can literally exhaust yourself mentally and physically to try to be somebody you're not versus just going through every day, doing your thing.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to be more fulfilling? The
Right.
exhausting part for somebody to actually figure you out and to be like you're fake, and they don't tell you that, but they just let you to do, and then you embarrass yourself pretty much.
Yeah.
Or to just go through life every day. You're not looking for a fight. You're not looking for friction, but you're going to stand up for what you believe and who you are as a person.
Right. Right. Well,
Choose. It's a choice every day.
yeah, and also find the friends like Brian is, that when I would be upset with him, I'd say, Brian, I'm upset, but I wasn't being upset to be pissed off at him. I wanted him to know where I was coming from, for one, but also I knew Brian was the one to at least be open, to at least listen to my side. If Brian was the one to say, well, Lynn, I'm sorry you see it that way, because I don't see it that way, and that's not what I meant, because I dated enough of those guys, that I'd be saying, okay, Brian, then we're not doing the show, because I've already been with those kind of guys, But what I'm saying is you got to know where your safe space is, because if you're talking to the wall and the wall's not, it's going to talk back to you, shit, go find some different sheetrock.
There's some people like that. Just put up sheetrock instead of being the person.
So
Same
that's what
thing.
I'm saying.
They're just a human being with a pulse.
So what I'm saying is you've got to find out if you're even speaking to the right choir. You need to find out if you're with the right people, because if you're not with the right people that want to grow or understand where you're coming from, and being dyslexic or being a little different that I am, if I'm not around the people that know that I'm a little different, then it's just like, this is the way I can explain the best. It's like when from kindergarten and second grade, when I spoke Spanish at home and I'd go to school and I'm speaking Spanish and they looked at me and I'm like, they don't know those words. I have to use other words, and I'd have to, I'd say mira, mira, meaning look. And they'd look at me like, and I go, look? Yeah, okay. So I do know that, I'd have to realize, am I speaking Spanish or am I speaking English? The same difference. You have to figure out, are they speaking your language? Do we have a barrier here? I mean, there are barriers in different languages. So you have to realize, if they don't understand your language, it's not shame on them or you. You have to make them understand that you have a different language. It's just like the love language book. There's different languages, people. When you realize different people have different languages, find where you can understand. Same thing as I work somewhere, there's different Spanish speaking, different Castilian Spanish, different, the Mexican have their own dialects. We all speak Spanish, but it means different things. Yeah. So I still have to find where we can understand it's even in Spanish, there's different barriers there. You have to understand the level playing field of where you're at. And if you don't feel like it's level, then it's not safe to go ahead, because, it's like ice fishing or, anything. You go out on that soft ice, shit, you're going to fall and you're going to sink. So, I mean, just be careful and know who and where it's safe to have those conversations. If not, you're going to be screwed.
Well, and if you get into, okay, so Mindy says sometimes getting pissed off is a blessing because this person genuinely loves and cares and knows your, yeah.
And that's Brian. Yeah. That's Brian. Brian was he was a safe place for me, and vice versa. I think Brian knows too. I've been safe place for him to talk about things, And
that's a very tough place to be in, because ad nauseum, I know some people in my life right now that I see their potential. And it's like, one of the things I wanted to talk about too is that, quickly, because, we got to go, is whenever things are complicated in relationships, adding one more thing onto something is not going to get you closure. Like, everybody has their story. This means this, da 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 da. It's just all these layers above and beyond the facts.
Yeah.
Here's what happened, and here's what somebody made it mean, right? The same thing happened to both people. Michelle's here. Hey.
You're going to have to rewatch the show. It's pretty damn good.
We're going on 24 minutes with no preparation and just talking out of our rear end.
I don't know know why we always
That's why
worry
we don't
about.
even have a title for the show. It's just a cornucopia of whatever's in our heads today.
And I think that's where we're going to go from now on. Because I'll tell you what, Brian, how many times next week we're going to talk about how many times we worried about getting a freaking topic for the show. We're going to talk about that. That's going to be next week.
We're going to talk about how we don't need to have a subject. Yeah. We're going to think about how we didn't have a topic. I will have to. Brian needs to send me
a personal invitation.
Oh,
you know what? She's my friend too. I'm going to send her one.
Yeah. We'll remind you of what we don't know we're going to talk about. You're welcome for wasting your time today, Michelle. Keep it simple, 100%.
You see how hard we made it for ourselves, Brian?
Oh, yeah. It's like, here it's Sunday, and then we go into 10:15 and Central, and we're like, man, what are we going to talk about today? My brain is working too hard to figure this out.
You know what? We hope when I upload all that stuff to podcasts and they come down to this video, they say, and after all that shit, came down to number one.
You know how many videos are going to be titled, I don't know what we're going to talk about today? What's our title? Blank number 1, blank number 2, blank number video number 37.
Oh my gosh!
No, but what I was going to say, it wouldn't be real and raw if you planned it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Not, hey, you're getting a very good insight into how our brains work together. And look at Lynn's face; it's ready to turn tomato red right about now. She's almost ready to be like, "Okay, we got to go, everyone. Let time out. Let's get out of here." So one more thing, so Lynn can breathe, is that you need to remove something. As hard as it is, because in a relationship where there's a gap or there's an indifference, it's something that's not communicated. It's something that's missing. Kind of like the difference between hardware and software talking to each other. It's the firmware that binds it all together. Well, the part in a relationship is something that was not communicated, or some feelings that the other person doesn't know. And you hit it right on the head, is when you were upset at me, you declared what it was. Full transparency, full vulnerability, and the root of the upset is buried, or somebody wants to do it in a very roundabout way instead of meeting it head on. Here's why I'm upset at you. You know, no emotion, no nothing, no meaning, just boom. Here's where it is, and now we have a place to work from. There's a reason why I don't connect with you, because there's this barrier in between. And until we break that down, and that's where you got to remove something. And that removing part is where you declare what it is, that where the upset is from. And so Mindy says, can also be real and raw in the planning. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, now that I can breathe. That's one thing I'm not going to miss about the podcast part, is not people seeing Lynn turn red. And
we didn't plan for that part either. You know.
No, of course not. Well, and we always, and it's so funny, because I think what I'm going to have to do in some of those podcasts, and to see the video effect, you need to go to the YouTube channel to see what happened to Lynn. For the 3-dimensional. So anyhow, you guys, this has been a great real and raw. I mean, we don't get any more real and raw. And I think that's what's going to be really funny, because going forward, as I'm uploading these, I will be talking about the uploads for the future and the past and stuff. So it's really going to be referring people to the uploads when they go up.
And I also want to pinpoint one thing before we go, is that people come to us for a reason. God knows we don't know what that is, because we don't plan what we're going to say. But at the same time, it's like, if you're dealing with something, and it could be not even about the content we share, it could be about, it puts you in a better place. It gives you a new perspective. It gets you to see something differently that you didn't see until now. It was like you were facing a brick wall, but now the brick wall moved in your brain, and now you see another opportunity or another route to what you're dealing with. And the emotions of it, if it gets you to laugh, if it gets you to, I don't know, just not be so hard on yourself, I would think that that'd be worth somebody's time.
Right. Absolutely. And that's what I love about us. I mean, we had a lot of, junk in our trunk. I know that's true in my case. If you haven't seen my booty, it's true. But okay, I was the butt of the joke there, but we'll let that go. But no, seriously, it's just, I'm being a bad comedian right now.
See, that's the kind of stuff, that you clearly we didn't know where that was going to go. I'm like, where are we going with this? Junk in the trunk.
Yeah, I know. But seriously, you guys, this is what we love. This came, out of nowhere, our show, and where do we know where it's going, but we do know we enjoy doing
Just like
this.
every episode, we don't know where this is.
But you know what? That's like a never-ending play, and that's what we like to do, is a never-ending play.
Well, I'm a huge fan of The Infinite Game. It's a book by Simon Sinek. And there are some things that have a finite game, and there are other things that are in an infinite game. And this is one of them. We don't know what we're going to talk about. I enjoy you both. Thank you, Michelle. We don't know where this show is going to go. We don't know what we're going to talk about, but we've created a space where there's always something to talk about. There's always a laugh to be had, or, Lynn to talk about random things,
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful part, is because there is no deadline.
Yeah, no specific structure that we're, and that's the funny thing, because I mean, with the podcast the way it's going, there's gonna be the wanting to have some love me some Simon. Awesome. So yeah, we're gonna get out of here, and we're gonna have to pick up our no nonsense, who knows what the hell we're gonna talk about next week topic, but it is gonna be my birthday. And I've never did a podcast on my birthday before. So I can never say never after.
I got some notes jotted down here, so we might just have some surprises.
Oh, shit. Oh, smack. Just remember, nobody can come on the podcast without but then if I give you the freaking link, oh, shit, I could be in trouble tomorrow or next week. We'll see what happens.
I already thought past that a little bit. I'm like,
wow. Anyways, you guys.
I'll need this approximately by 10:30 next week.
Better bringing cake. Oh, well, have no calories. That's so damn
We'll have
good.
a guy dressed up in a cake suit bringing you a cake to your address in Montana. Heck, he might even pop out of the cake. Heck, we'll see what that costs.
Brian, it's a thought that counts, and that was a good one. So,
hold it there all day.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna turn red, and it's time to go.
Thanks everyone. We got Lynn to turn red 2 times in like 10 minutes throughout a show that we didn't even know we were going to talk about.
Shut up, you guys. Oh my gosh. Oh man.
Cheers, Mindy. Oh man, Santa suit. Oh no, he's one of Santa's naughty elves.
Nice package. I gotta go. It's time to go.
See, look at her face. That's usually a trigger. When her face gets red. We gotta go. We gotta go.
You guys, I gotta go. Bye.
See you next week.